This video is going to be a little bit of shotgun style. Maybe it's more podcasty. I don't really know. But I'm just going to kind of talk about the things that I see, the things I think that other people deal with, how I think we can deal with them and overcome them, and maybe take that to be able to move forward to become better resellers and better people overall. I've recently been thinking a lot and doing a lot of outward looking and inward looking on myself in different areas of my life, and especially with my business. I've worked for myself for about the last 13 to 15 years of my life. I've owned multiple businesses. I've had a bread route, a t-shirt company, a small scooter and motorcycle store that was a brick and mortar physical building. I have my real estate license, and I've done reselling, plus a few other small things here and there that I tried and didn't really work out. Maybe I can talk about all those things and what I've learned from them in another video if that's something you guys are interested in. But today I want to bring up some topics that I think resellers really struggle with. And the first one I think is that we hold ourselves to a pretty high standard of this industry. I think that when you look at what is available online for YouTube, Google, Patreon, Facebook groups, all that kind of stuff, there are a lot of gurus out there that are offering even really cheap or free services. I personally don't find that a lot of those groups are for me personally. I think different people learn in different ways, and for those people that learn those ways, they're awesome. If you're like me, my motto is I'm not angry, I'm just passionate. A lot of people take my passion for pessimism or negativity when really I just actually care about what I'm doing on maybe a deeper level than just the surface level reselling. So one of the things that I deal with personally is constantly finding my passion inside of reselling. Okay, so what that means for me is where I get my joy, my enjoyment, my fulfillment as being a reseller. My main priority is providing for my family, paying my bills, and all of that is great. And I could probably work any job in the world and do that. But ultimately, it comes down to, your happiness, your fulfillment, what makes you kind of move. And I think over the years, as I've been doing reselling full-time for almost 5 years now, maybe a little bit longer, certain things in my perspective have changed, such as at first, I was chasing viral content. I was chasing followers on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And all of that is just, for me, so surface level, so unfulfilling and time consuming that it really got to me mentally, and it affected my mental health a little bit. One thing that's really helped me since I've become a reseller, like I said, I am a pretty social person. And so I have found a lot of connectivity and relatability to find my passion in making friends within the reseller community. For those of you guys that know me, you know that there are certain people that I've hung out with, I've thrifted with, I've become really good friends with. And all of these people, I never knew them until I discovered reselling. I discovered YouTube. I became a content creator of some type on Instagram. And so if you're a friend of mine, shout out to you. I appreciate all of my friends. I love my friends. Some of them probably think I'm crazy because I may text them or message them on Instagram or try to hang out with them more than they'd like to hang out with me. But that's just my personality, is I find more fulfillment in being able to do what I love to do when I'm able to spend that time with other people that enjoy it as well. I think that's why so many people find fulfillment in like the corporate job, in the corporate world, maybe let's just say on Wall Street or in banking or working at a sports stadium or film development or something like that, because they're around people that enjoy doing the same thing. Now, typically, if you're working at a grocery store or something like that, you're not going to see a lot of passionate people that love, being a cashier or being a stock clerk or something like that. But once you get into professions such as, again, the things that I mentioned before, or construction or something like that, where people really enjoy what they do, they enjoy working with their hands, they enjoy being creative, those are the types of ways that encourage people to stay in the jobs that they are in, to consistently make progress, to move forward, to better the company, not just themselves. Because let's face it, most of these people are on salary or an hourly wage, and they know how much money they're going to be making. So what drives these types of people? Well, I found for me within reselling, because you work alone, that one of the things that drives me is when I'm able to hang out with friends, to share those endeavors, those thrift trips, those thrift hauls, those Goodwill bins trips, or just grab lunch or talk about reselling as a whole. Those types of days, I find I'm either more productive, I'm more encouraged, I'm more inspired, and I'm able to be more relaxed and less stressed out. I mean, let's face it, from start to finish, us resellers, we do so much stuff on a day-to-day basis that usually a whole company has an entire team for. You have sourcing, listing, shipping, taxes, paperwork, spreadsheeting, accounting, inventory cleaning, folding, organizing, marketing, photography. The list goes on and on and on. And what I've found is that most people are really good at probably 2 of 6 different types of categories. And the other 4 are things that either they can do and will do because the business must go on, or it's stuff that they have to do because they either don't have an employee to do that thing for them, or they can only do it because it's required of the business of being a reseller. So when you are a reseller, you are an entire corporation pushed into one person. Now, these things start from the creative process to picking what stores you want to thrift from, or what areas, what ways you want to thrift your inventory, to how you're going to list it, how you're going to sell it, how you're going to ship it. Some people like buying cute poly mailers and fancy boxes because they like giving that customer service feel to their customers, whereas some people just want to throw it in the cheapest poly mailer possible and get paid. But then other people really enjoy the process of finding the inventory that they know somebody is going to love. Other people enjoy the process of selling quick for a fast nickel rather than listing for a slow dime. And that comes with, eBay and whatnot, for example. Now, all of these things, none of them are wrong, but as resellers, we all find ourselves figuring out which ones work and which ones don't for us. But it's usually based on how we get enjoyment and fulfillment within this process. And so I think that it's a really interesting dynamic of reselling that nobody really talks about, or people don't deep dive into, like more of the psychology of reselling, where it's more than just buying stuff and selling it. There are a lot of processes involved, and we as resellers don't get to share the passion sides of what we like to do, where somebody really may enjoy the spreadsheeting side of reselling, where they know every penny that they're making, where their money is going in and coming out every single day. For me, I loathe spreadsheeting. I hate accounting. I hate spreadsheeting. It's just not built into my DNA. And lucky for me, I have my beautiful wife who is able to help me with that side of my business. If it wasn't for her, I'd probably either go cuckoo, or I wouldn't be much of a great reseller, because I don't have much of a drive or desire, love, passion, enjoyment, fulfillment, whatever you want to call it, for that side of reselling. And for me, that is one of the 4 of the 6 things that I don't really enjoy about reselling, but I do what I have to do because I don't have anybody else to do it other than my wife, who helps me. But she's not anywhere part-time or full-time in the business other than accounting and helping me with numbers, which I'm very thankful for. I want to say also that reselling is not easy, and I think that it's really something that people don't admit a lot. People try to make it this easy process that's like, oh, anybody can be a reseller. Anybody can find something on the side of the road and flip it on eBay for $100, when there is a pretty lengthy process and a learning curve to it that a lot of people don't teach. They just want to show you 100 easy things you can sell on eBay for a profit, or how to make your first $50,000 on eBay. And those videos are great, don't get me wrong, but there is a whole nother level that's deeper than just the surface level reselling. That is what I care about, is what I see that people are struggling with. I think that there are multiple categories that I've already kind of talked about. One of my areas of strength, I guess you could say, is being able to just constantly talk about things that I think are going on, things that I enjoy, things I'm passionate about, things I love. I could just talk and talk and talk and talk for hours, and this video could be forever long, but I won't make you sit through all that. If you've made it this far, I'm actually honored, because most people won't sit and give the time of day to these types of conversations because they just want get rich quick answers, and I don't really think there are a lot of those. I think that, if you have access to a rag house or you have access to a supplier that you've built over the years, that's amazing for you. But 98 or 99% of the population don't have access to that, or are still trying to find how to get access to that kind of stuff. And so we struggle a lot as individual resellers with figuring those things out. What I have found, to switch things up just a little bit, is the positivity side of reselling, like I said earlier, that keeps me going is the friendships, the accountability, the encouragement, being able to talk to friends on the phone, like my buddy Joey. For those of you guys who know Joey Bada Bing 22, your local mailman. He's just one of my best friends, and being able to talk to people like him, dealing with Dalton, resellers who I know are in the game, they deal with the same struggles as me. I mean, let's face it, my family, my friends, members of the church that I go to, Facebook high school people that are acquaintances at this point that I thought I'd be friends with forever, 9 out of 10 of them could care less what I do, or even know what I do. But the people who resell are the ones who understand, and those are the ones that are you're able to engage in conversation with. And I think that it's really important for us to find those people within the reselling community that you can have deeper talks with, stronger conversations with, and be able to have accountability with. Not just, oh, did you do your listings today? Yeah, I did my listings today. But to be able to open up and say what you're struggling with, and not to be laughed at or not to be looked down upon, because we tend to compare ourselves to the gurus. We don't know that this person has a 90-day total that's same to yours, because this person only has 1 kid and you may have 5 kids, and your husband may go off to work, or your wife may work and do a different job, and you're the one that's at home reselling, and you have to deal with the kids as well, drop them off or pick them up from school, or you have to deal with mowing the lawn and house stuff. I'm not a great speaker when it comes to that kind of stuff, so forgive me, but I think you guys get the concept. And there's just so many things on a day-to-day basis where somebody goes to work and they just clock in, they do a job, they get their job done, and they leave, and there's no responsibility. They go home, they can watch Netflix, they can go to Topgolf, they can do whatever they want, but us resellers always have stuff in the back of our mind. Did I list enough today? Were my pictures clean enough? Did I remember to provide measurements in my listings? Did I do enough item specifics? The list goes on and on there as well. You could call eBay, you could do a zillion Poshmark shows, you can share your closet 400,000 times, and at the end of the day, there's only so much that you can produce unless you just have insane inventory at extremely low prices that are going to always beat out the competition. Now, I definitely agree that there are things you can do, and every reseller will say 1 day free shipping, or 1 day shipping, free returns, great well-lit photos, measurements in your descriptions, good item specifics, like I mentioned before. All that stuff is extremely important, but at the end of the day, eBay still has to do its part. Poshmark still has to do its part with its marketing dollars that we pay those applications for their service to sell on their platforms. And so never feeling like you're enough or that you did enough is something that is so strong in the reselling community that a lot of people aren't talking about, because they're either afraid that it's negative talk, or they're afraid that you're being pessimistic, or that you're not working hard enough. And at the end of the day, I think that's just a bunch of baloney. And I think that it's healthy to let these things out. It's healthy to be able to share that with maybe somebody that you can talk to. I think that's why a lot of podcasts, people enjoy that. People enjoy escapism in YouTube and Netflix because it helps them forget about the things that they deal with or that they didn't do enough that day. For example, as I'm recording this, I've only had 2 sales today on eBay specifically. That is not acceptable for me. But what can I do? I can list more. I started a sale. I'm running 50% off items that have been sitting longer than 90 days in my store. and I'm still waiting for sales to come in. I've called eBay to ask if there's anything on my account that's holding me back. They say I'm meeting all the criteria. I'm top rated seller, yada, yada, yada. And so I have found that finding some type of person or personality that I can relate with and be vulnerable with, that helps me personally. Some people have the David Goggins mentality that's like, just do it, stop being a baby, get back to work, hustle, grind. That lifestyle, the grind set mentality, hustle culture, that's just not for me. I can self-motivate myself to list 50 items a day if I really wanted to, but at the end of the day, there's no joy in that. There's no happiness in that. But I do what I have to do because I know that I have to provide for my family. But I want more from my life as a reseller than just simply existing and listing and selling used items on the internet. I want to be able to go to my kids' hockey games, which I do. I'm very thankful for, that I have this life that I can, resell in the morning and then go to my kids' hockey games at nights or whatever it takes. But there's still more to it than that for me. And so this video and maybe future videos are hopefully going to be talking about these kinds of things to encourage you, to motivate you, hopefully inspire, I don't know, to just let you know that you're not alone. If you're watching this, please leave a comment down below of something that maybe you struggle with or something that you don't see talked enough about in the reseller community. I think there are enough people out there that are talking about listings, what solds, how to have the best eBay above everybody else, how to find dollar items at flea markets, and how to, find grails at the bins. And there's enough people like that out there, and not enough people that are just being more of their honest self. Not that people are being fake, but people that are making videos because of what gets views. And ultimately, I don't expect this video to get a lot of views, but if it just helps out one person, then I accomplished what I intended to do when I started recording this video. And again, it's pretty splattered all over the place. I could use some help with structuring. That's me being vulnerable to my audience. And maybe I'll get better at that as I start making more videos again. I don't really know. But ultimately, what I want to do is find a gap in the reselling space or the thrifting space, the entrepreneurial space, the self-working space, to help people realize that it's not easy being a go-getter, being an entrepreneur, choosing to wake up every day and go to work, to go to the thrift store, to log into your Shopify store, to find more inventory, to run a sale, to take maybe a loss on some items, to move some old inventory. That stuff is not easy. And I think a lot of people miss that side of reselling as a topic to discuss. And I'm open to having roundtable discussions, maybe more podcast style discussions with people, because I think that we don't realize how many people go through this stuff, how many entrepreneurs, I don't want to use the word fail, but miss and then try again, miss, try again. Try the bins, it doesn't work for them. Try thrifting, it doesn't work for them. Try pallets, it doesn't work for them. And keep going and keep going. And I think eventually most people find their kind of their rhythm or their place of what works for them and what doesn't. But ultimately, I think we need each other a lot more than is talked about. And accountability, there are a lot of Discords, Facebook groups out there. And if you're not a part of those, maybe find a free one or one that's pretty active and friendly to join. I don't plan on starting anything like that for the foreseeable future, but I do think that being motivated and encouraged versus just people bragging about, their 90-day total or how much their sales have increased, ultimately that can be for somebody mentally a big obstacle to overcome when you're constantly seeing other people succeed. Sometimes it is hard to be motivated by that, when it's easy to get discouraged when you're trying to do the same thing they are and all you're seeing is consistent results of not enough sales or slow sales. And I think that for me, that I have gotten to that point and I've realized that it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of mental power, it takes a lot of discipline to realize that those things are not easy. And if you are doing those things on a day-to-day basis, you're already 99% ahead of the average person, the average reseller, the average business owner. Most people that start businesses don't know how to do it on their own. A lot watch YouTube videos or Google or figure things out for themselves. Some find success faster than others, and we're all supposed to be going at our own pace. Some people are self-motivated, so they wake up at 5 in the morning to get their shipping done so they can go thrifting. Other people are motivated by something that they can look forward to at the end of the day. Maybe for you, it's just a $200 a day in sales and then a glass of wine at night, or you're just trying to pay for your kids' private school with a side hustle or reselling or thrifting or something like that. And that's all that matters to you. And I think that there are a lot of more things to say. I'm probably going to leave it at that and see where this video, where the comments, where the viewership takes me in different topics I can talk about. I've always wanted to do more podcasting and talking style videos, and so I'm putting a lot out there, getting a lot off of my chest on how I feel and what I think may be relatable to some people out there in the reselling community. I'm not looking for anybody to feel bad for me. I'm not looking to build a community of people that want to be felt bad for. I just want people to know that it's okay to have good days and bad days. It's okay to struggle with sales, and you can figure out how to get better at that. You can figure out how to overcome it. Sometimes taking a day off, going to the beach, or completely taking your mind off of reselling, as hard as it is to say, I need to keep listing, I need to keep doing this. You can do a couple extra drafts. I know a lot of people are big on the eBay. You got to list every single day to make sales. So if that's something that you feel is a necessity for you, then do it. But maybe find one day where you do 20 listings and you draft 10 of them, so that one day you can just completely take off and go do a hobby. For me, I like to play disc golf. It helps me take my mind off of the day's work, the entrepreneurial struggles, the things that stress me out, whether it's organization or spreadsheeting, for example. And then I can come back refreshed and ready to kind of self-motivate myself in those categories and do those things. Some other topics I want to talk about, again, is more friendships within the space of entrepreneurship, reselling, working for yourself, accountability with other people, avoiding burnout. I think a lot of people make those categories, but they just say things like, oh, hey, go find a hobby. And there's a lot deeper stuff to talk about mentally, psychologically, that I think is missed. So that's a big topic that I want to discuss more. How to remain positive. Again, like I said, people mistake my passion for negativity when really I just want to find answers and solutions to problems that I'm struggling with in my own business. And the only way to discover those is by expressing what I'm dealing with to other people. And some people take that as just being negative or spewing problems and saying, oh, just suck it up and figure it out. But ultimately, the way you figure that out is by talking about it. And I think that successful people in business, whether it's Gary Vee or Dave Ramsey or David Goggins or whoever it is, Simon Sinek or these motivational people, these entrepreneurs that make millions of dollars, they had to sit down eventually and look at what was working and what wasn't, and then talk about it with somebody to say, okay, what do we move forward with? What do we pull back on? What do we keep running with? What do we try new? And constantly evolving that, not just saying, well, just suck it up and keep listing or keep, whatever. If that doesn't work for you in your area of where you live, or, there's things to talk about. Do you move? Do you re-strategize? Do you have to figure out a way to source online? How do you find those people? There's so much stuff to talk about there. Comparison, again, like I talked about earlier, the gurus out there. Comparison is the thief of joy. I found myself struggling with comparison a lot in my life, not just in business, but in my relationship with God, as a Christian, as a father, as a husband, as a friend to other people. My circle of friends is very few people. They're probably the amount of fingers that I have on my hand. I can count my close circle of friends, because my personality is very aggressive to the average human being. You know, I care about my friends. I want to check up on them. I want to motivate them, encourage them, inspire them. Some of them want that and some of them don't. And so some of my friends have pulled away from me because they see me checking in on them as pestering them or being annoying, when all it really is I care about the success of their life. And so those things can be mistaken really easily as well. And so I have to learn how to express that to them in whatever love language they will take that in. Some people don't want that. They just want to work the 9 to 5 and go home and watch Netflix. And I have to learn that I can't force that on anybody, just like I can't force my son to play hockey if he wants to be a soccer player. I have to let him choose that stuff on his own, what he finds he's passionate about, and then support that passion. And so hopefully I can help some of you guys with that as this grows. And how to find motivation. And these are just a few things that I found that hopefully I can bring out. I don't know if this is going to turn into anything, like I've said a couple of times, but hopefully it will be. I'm not great at making sourcing videos, what sold videos. There's billions of people out there, not billions, but there's tons of people out there making that kind of content, and not a lot of just like raw, real, like relatability content. And I think that that's hopefully something that is a gap in some way, shape, or form that I can fill to some extent. I think I've talked enough for this video. If any of this helped you just to realize, take away anything, let me know in the comment section if there was any nugget you pulled from this, any type of encouragement, positivity, or something you want to share with other people. Please put it down in the comment section below. If you made it to the end, let me know. Put "end" in all capital letters before your comment. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you want to see more of this kind of stuff where I'm just talking more podcast style, you can listen to this while you're sourcing, listen to it while you're driving, while you're shipping, while you're listing. I don't know. Hopefully something comes up about this. If it doesn't, hey, at least I tried it, and I'm at least doing what I've been telling you guys this whole video is I'm trying something. And yeah, maybe it'll lead to something, maybe it won't, but I got to start somewhere. And so if there's topics you guys want to hear about, again, let me know things that you struggle with that you think maybe need more people bringing to light in the community. Then I'd love to talk about those things, or maybe even do a podcast style video where I talk about that with you. So let me know. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.